Growing up, every kid has a dream. A lot of kids, like myself, dreamed of being a pro athlete. Well, for watching this video, I didn't make the NBA, but that doesn't mean that I stopped chasing it. In this video, I'm gonna show you how I went from a high school videographer to an NBA videographer in just 5 years. Make sure you watch this whole video all the way through because I'm gonna give you the best 3 tips to making it to the NBA as a videographer. Let's go. I loved basketball growing up. I loved watching Prime Dirk, Steph Curry, LeBron James, all those big players back in the day. I once had a dream that I would play in the NBA alongside Steph Curry, but I'm 6 feet tall, I'm white, and I can't dunk. Now, yes, I did like sports. Okay, I've always wanted to be an NBA player, but at the end of the day, I didn't love it. I hated running, I hated practices, I hated working out, so those dreams kind of fell short. But one thing I did love, and that was cameras. I used to make movies on my iPad with my brothers and sisters. I just really loved recording stuff, making videos, and just really spending time with the camera. But I never thought it would take me to places I've never seen before. Let's keep going. So I played basketball in middle school, and then we get to high school, and I get cut from my JV team, right? And instead of letting that break me, it redirected me to a new aspect of life. Guys, I've just dropped a full-on mini course, 7 years of my experience as a sports videographer packed into 1 hour video with a guide, a 30-day checklist, and my own roadmap that should help you go all the way to being a successful NBA professional videographer. There's a limited time sale right now, so if you're a sports videographer or just a videographer in general that wants to learn, it is on sale for a limited amount of time. So link in the description, go buy it, enjoy the rest of the video. For the time being, yes, it broke me down, but it got me closer to my next goal. Getting cut from the team was like forcing me out of one lane, but showed me another lane that I would have never seen. Once I got cut, I was like, okay, you know what? It's time to put down the ball and pick up the camera. So what I did was I really just recorded my friends every day, practicing games. I did all that stuff for them for free, but I was also learning how to use my camera, how to get different angles, how to learn all my settings. That was just the time where I was learning. So while I was doing all this, I was like, you know what? I might as well start my own Instagram page. I really don't know where else to put all this footage, so I'm gonna make my own Instagram page and maybe go from there. Back then, 2018, just think about it, okay? We had Slam, Ball's Life, LaMelo Ball, Zion, Lonzo Ball. I mean, there were so many great players, and that's whenever Ball's Life and Slam were at their peak. So I always wanted to work with them. I always wanted to be my own sports page. I wanted to post content, make money from it. But back then, they were just top of the food chain, and so I was never gonna get seen. So when I made my Instagram, it was time to make videos. I was driving around everywhere, filming Cade Cunningham, RJ Hampton, Mike Miles, Wade Taylor, Duncanville. There were so many good players at the time that I had a lot of chances to grow my personal brand. But then there was this one event that came around once a year, Thanksgiving Hoop Fest. So of course, since I'm new, I get denied a media credential, but that doesn't stop me. I'm not gonna tell you how I got in, but I got in, and I filmed every big game there. I was there from sun up to sundown, filming every game, and that's how I made my name bigger. I'm not gonna tell you the results just yet, but I'm gonna give you the first tip. Grow your personal brand. How can players, brands, teams ever give you an opportunity when you have nothing on your page? That's what I did at Hoop Fest. I made a mixtape for every single player that was there. So at the end of Hoop Fest, I get a DM from no other than the biggest basketball brand out there, Slam Highschool. So remember Slam Highschool, okay? Yes, I did some work for them. Not gonna talk too much about it, but they are a major piece to the puzzle at the end of the story. So make sure you remember that. Act 3, the turning point. So I thought it was big time. Okay, you know, I got noticed by Slam, gained about 3,000 followers from just one event, and I was like, you know what, I'm up next. So we get on to the next year. This is my 2nd year recording. I recorded for a big name player named Keontae George, did some work for him for a long time, but this was his sophomore year, so I kind of documented everything. But one day I get a DM from this one player at Coppell High School that isn't ranked, maybe has like 400 followers, and so I didn't pick up the phone for a little bit. But then I checked the DM again, and he said, hey bro, pull up to my game. I'm like, should I? But I saw that, you know, he liked a lot of my videos. He kind of really showed support to my page, so I was like, you know what, let me pull up and watch this kid play. That kid's name was Anthony Black. So I pull up to his game, and he doesn't score 1 point, okay? But he's a freshman in high school, you know, he isn't really known yet. So I was like, you know what, let me give it time. The more I learned about AB, I really just admired his work ethic, his time with his family, and just his goals. So I started filming him a lot more, and while he was growing as a player, I grew as a videographer. This leads to tip number 2, adapt or be left behind. Adapt. Okay, let's think of it as a basketball player, right? Okay, so say you're 6 foot in middle school, and then in high school everyone's 6'5" and above. You gotta learn how to shoot, you gotta learn how to dribble, you just gotta get better at your craft. And in social media, that plays a big part as a videographer slash content creator. Let me give you an example as a sports videographer, right? Back in the day, think about it, okay? Balls Life Slam, all they did was post like old school vibes, mixtapes, you know, just kind of like slow down, like just good vibe mixtapes, no animations, nothing. So that's what I did at first. Then we get to the era like 2019, 2020, where it heavily relied on effects, After Effects. Okay, I wasn't good at it, but I tried, and I just tried to stay on top of the wave. Then we got to the era of documentaries, right? Nick in the Cut, you know, he was pretty big at the time, so I started making documentaries on YouTube. Now we are in the era where TikTok and Instagram Reels are key to everything else, right? So that's what I'm doing now. And I've gained about over 100K followers on Instagram, over 50K followers on TikTok by just really following the wave. So that's how you adapt, right? If you want to work with the NBA player, you got to have a following first. So how you get a following? You got to keep following with trends. You got to keep adapting. That's my second tip. So then we get to the next part, right? This is where we take a turn for the worse, okay? I was 20 years old. I had no money to my name. I was really just filming for free, you know, trying to grow my brand. And my parents started to worry, which, I mean, my parents did not overreact. I had no money to my name, so they were just confused on what my goal was in life. So I had to get jobs, right? I worked at Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, worked at a donut shop. And while I was doing that, I was also filming because that's still my passion. That was my goal. So that was kind of just a tough part in life. You know, I wasn't really making any money. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I just kept working. So while I was still working those jobs, right, I was still filming. I was still filming everyone I could, all the big name players. I was still growing my Instagram page. I think at this point I'm at like 10K followers, which is pretty good. Still, again, growing the portfolio, putting in hours on my craft because I was always just trying to be the best. So let's fast forward to 2021. I've built a name for myself in Dallas. A lot of people know who I am now. And that's also when AB started to blow up a little bit too. So AB transferred to Dunkville, became the #1 point guard in the nation, and also was growing his name as well. AB's senior season ends. He's ranked pretty high, but he isn't on any mock drafts. You know, he's not projected to make the NBA. And that's when I was like, you know what? I think this kid has a good chance. I know my name isn't the biggest, but I want to work for you for free, but I want to tell your story and grow your brand. At the time, AB and his family were really comfortable with me. They learned to trust me a lot. So they said, you know what, Jake, let's do it. We can't pay you now, but maybe in later we could pay you some. So that is when I dropped everything, right? I moved out of my house. I dropped all my jobs, all my clients, and I worked with AB full time for free. Now, remember back then when I said, always remember that name Slam? Well, this is when it comes big. The crazy thing is, in college sports, it is impossible to get a media credential. It is so easy in the NBA if you know a player. All the NBA players have to do is just tell the PR team your name and you're really on the list. It's that simple. But in college, there's still a boss and AD, so you kind of have to go through them. And 99% of the time, you're going to get declined. So I had to think of something, right? I was recording AB off the court, you know, doing that part, but I needed to get the games. That's when I realized Slam made a college page where they were able to get into college games and film the players, the teams, and put them on the page. So I DM'd Slam and I was like, Slam, I will work for y'all for free for Arkansas games, but all I need to get is access to the games. And they were like, you know what? Done deal. Let's do it. So that's how I got into some Arkansas games, and it really helped grow the brand. I wasn't making a lot of money, but I was like, you know what? It's going to work out in the end, and that's what happened. So let's fast forward to June 23rd, 2022. To this point leading up, nothing in my life was really safe. I never knew how much money I was going to make that month. I never knew how I was going to afford rent, how to pay bills, how to put food on the table. I just worked, and eventually the money always came in somehow. Then that day, June 23rd, 2022, it was crazy to see how me and AB's story ends up, right? It's really the same thing. Think about me. The people around me didn't understand it. They just saw a kid with a camera trying to achieve his dreams, but they saw all the risk I took, all the uncertainty, and they asked me, Jake, how are you going to make it? Now think about AB, right? All he had was a ball, a basketball, and he wanted to make the NBA. And there was 10 million people that want to make the NBA. Back in the day, he wasn't known. He wasn't big time. He didn't have all the gifts to be a great player back in the day, but he worked hard and put his mind right to the test. And the last tip, but the best tip, is definitely to build trust with others. Trust is the biggest thing when it comes to pro athletes, right? Because if you're weird, you act like a fan, or don't act professional, you're gonna lose. The main reason I am where I am today is because people trust me, okay? I'm not this crazy cameraman that, you know, talks a lot while they film. I'm just kind of behind the scenes, not really being a present and just kind of filming. So as I've talked about my journey, I've given you all 3 big tips to go off by, okay? I've kind of told y'all that you need to grow your personal brand, you need to adapt to social media, to the whole content creation thing, and then you also need to build trust with players. Those 3 tips will get you far in this industry. Just please believe me. So now I work with AB full time. It's been a crazy journey. I wouldn't wouldn't want to change anything about my life. Every mistake, every succession, every win, every loss meant something in life. If something bad happens, always take it as a lesson, learn from it, grow from it, and always get better. So this is my story, okay? Take these tips, take it with you, and I want to see you at the top with me next. Let's go.